Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Krayli Fernandez, and today I will be discussing about my research, which is about the relationship between the multiple intelligences and the style of learning in young learners as a foreign language. So this presentation will be divided into 5 parts. So the first one is about the English language topic, the second part, major challenges and trends, third part, the content, the problem, justification, preliminary questions, objective, and the scope of the investigation. As part fourth, the method chosen, and the last part, reflection about this first research station. Let's begin this presentation with this quote by Nick Hammond Neeson. He says that it is important to get results from experiment, but the most important is the process in getting that results. I want to begin by the topic of this research, which is the relationship between the multiple intelligence and the styles of learning in young learners of English as a foreign language. As you can see, we can have three important keywords. They are multiple intelligences, style of learning, and English as a foreign language. Now that you are aware of this overview, let's continue with the state of arts. Let's talk about some of the challenges of this research. To apply the multiple intelligences and the style of learning theories increases the learning objective and influences the teaching process in education nowadays. There is also another important challenge, which is to implement the use of multiple intelligences and the style of learning in a classroom. In the same way, there are some relevant trends that can be taken into account. So they are personalized teaching, social learning, videos, games, and also different students' needs. Now let's have a look at the context of this research. So, the context of this research gives the audience the picture of where, who, what, and possibly when of the research. It means that it becomes easy for the reader to have a better understanding of the background of the research. This, in essence, provides more illumination into the research question and authors. As you can see, there are some WH questions to answer the context of this research. Where? Francisco Pocenti School, which is here in Mexico. Who? Primary school students. What? About multiple intelligences and the styles of learning. And when? I suppose it could be conducted during the school year 2021 and 2022. Now let's consider the problem of this research. One of the main problems of this research is the lack of teaching strategy to cover all the students' needs in Francisco Pocenti School. This research is aimed to investigate the relationship of the multiple intelligence and the style of learning on young learners in order to enhance the teaching strategy oriented and focused on the potential of each student who learns in different ways. Now let's see the justification of this research. The purpose of this study is focused on investigating and expanding the knowledge of the relationship between the multiple intelligences and the style of learning in young learners, and also for English teachers who want to optimize the English language teaching, and last but not least, the effectiveness of the English language learning using the multiple intelligence and the different style of learning. This study tries to give an impact on the learning process on young learners and also to provide pedagogical strategies. To conduct this research is very important to analyze the preliminary questions, and they are: what is the relationship between the multiple intelligences and the style of learning in young learners? The second question would be: what is the effectiveness of the multiple intelligences and the style of learning in teaching English? And the last question: how can pedagogical teaching strategy enhance the learning process of young learners? I would like to move on the next part, which are the objectives of this research. Then we have two classifications, the general and the specific. About the general, the objective is to analyze the relationship between the multiple intelligences and the style of learning in young learners of English as a foreign language. Then the specifics are: first, to study the effect of multiple intelligences on teaching English as a foreign language to young learners and the style of learning. And the second is to explain how the English language can be taught using the multiple intelligences and the style of learning on young learners as a foreign language. To illustrate, let's discuss about the scope of this investigation. This research is conducted in the field of multiple intelligences and the different style of learning on young learners in primary school at Francisco Pocenti School. The scope of this research is bordered on the multiple intelligences and the style of learning based on pedagogical teaching strategy for English teachers of young learners. There is a lot of support for this. For example, the method chosen. As you might note, this type of method focuses on obtaining data through open-ended and conversational communication. So, collected data might be through interviews, observations, documents, among others. So, in conclusion, this method is pretty important because it allows people to build trust on the researchers and also works towards solving complex issues. In addition, I would like to mention 3 of the articles that I read to have a comparison or contrast with this research. The first one is an investigation between multiple intelligences and learning style. Although this is a quantitative research, these studies give a perspective on future implications of being aware of multiple intelligences and learning style on designing lessons, materials, and learning environments. The second one is integrating multiple intelligences in teaching English as a foreign language. This article reviews the type of intelligences described and defined by Howard Gardner and some other authors who follow and review the theory in terms of language teaching. This article also is focused on adult learners of foreign language. The third article is called Multiple Intelligences and Learning Strategies. This research reviewed the literature about learning strategies, multiple intelligence theory, learning styles, and clear approach and how they can be applied in the classroom. To finish this presentation, I would like to talk about the reflections of this research. And I think reflections is a very important mental activity in a professional life. It also covers cognitive process. With this project, I found myself navigating around to find the best way to approach things and produce authentic analysis. I would also try to formulate questions related to the subject of the study. In addition, I feel a tremendous responsibility to make sure that this research will help other teachers in order to enhance teaching strategies. I just have to say thank you very much for your attention, and if you have any questions, just let me know So you can contact me by my email, which is creilefernandez@gmail.com.